Last year, I embarked on a 3-month experiment using a Franklin planner, and it was eye-opening. Now, I will do a video separate to this video on what I actually learned, but the key part of the Franklin planner and using that again taught me the value of slowing down and thinking ahead as to what the most important things were going to be that day, and to be able to balance that with the appointments and commitments that I already had built into my calendar. It's superb, and I confess I am still using the Franklin planner today, 12 months, actually over 12 months later, and I don't envision leaving that behind. But this year, I've been thinking about what can I do for my 3-month experiment. Now, my 3-month experiment is October to the end of December, just to test out different applications, different time management and productivity methods, to see if I can learn something from those systems. And this year, I'm doing something a little bit different. This year, I'm going all in with the Apple Productivity Suite of tools. Now, when I was updating my Apple Productivity course, now available, links below, I realized that Apple Reminders, together with Apple Notes and Apple's Calendar, those 3 tools together are now phenomenal. They work solidly together, and with everything backed up into iCloud, or everything running through iCloud Drive, it is just a superb set of tools. And so I thought, okay, this year, let's give Apple a chance. Let's go through and run my time sector system method through Apple Reminders, run GAPRA through Apple Notes, and use my time blocking methods in Apple Calendar. And I'm really excited about what I'm going to learn from this experiment. Now, for those of you who don't know my history, I have been a long time Todoist user. I think it's about 12 years now. I've also been a very long time user of Evernote. That's certainly over 16 years now. So I'm very familiar with having applications run by different companies. For example, Evernote is run by Bending Spoons, Todoist is run by a company called Doist. So these tools are completely independent of each other. What I'm expecting to learn with this experiment using only Apple's tools is that all 3 of these tools are run by the same company. So in theory, there should be no resistance or barriers or quirks between the 3 devices. And as I say, when I was updating my productivity course, I did notice that everything just seems to work smoothly together. Apple have done a lot of stuff in the background to make these tools just work. And let me just give you one simple example that has really helped me to get a lot more comfortable using Apple Reminders. One of the issues I've always had with Apple Reminders is the text size on the desktop app is too small. As you may have noticed, I wear glasses. They are for reading. I am short-sighted, as we call it in the UK. So I need to see good, clear, large text on screen. Now, in the past, I've never been able to find a way of changing the text size. Now, certainly since Mac OS 26, although it may have come out last year, I have now discovered that you can increase the text size only in Reminders without affecting the whole system. And you do that simply by going into Settings, Display, and then you'll scroll down a little bit and you can see that you can customize fonts. From there, you can select Reminders and change the text size to the size that you like. Now, I currently have it on 16 because that just works for me, and it makes it such clearer on the desktop. But one of the things that I have noticed is, unlike with Todoist, which is okay on mobile devices, Reminders is phenomenal on mobile devices. It just works brilliantly. Whether you're using the iPad or you're using the iPhone, you can flag and unflag things simply by long pressing on a task, and you can just flag it or unflag it, whichever way you prefer. You can set up filters. Now, I have certain filters set up that moves away all the low value stuff, the communications and the admin. I get to those later in the day. But when I start the day, I want to see my big juicy tasks that need to be done today, because these are, if you like, the most important tasks, MITs if you like, or the must-dos as I prefer to call them. And reminders gives me that ability. The way that you can set up filters is just superb. And then when it comes to Apple Notes, well, Apple Notes is already phenomenal. I mean, you can see on YouTube all the videos about the wonderful things that Apple Notes can do. But more importantly for me, Apple Notes just connects superbly well to reminders through the share sheet. And again, if you followed me for any length of time, I don't manage projects in a task manager. I manage all my projects in my notes. So I can just keep all of those simply and easily in Apple Notes. And I haven't even mentioned where Siri comes into this, because Siri is just superb at getting stuff into reminders and into Apple Notes. And it's something that I'm really going to explore. And ultimately I will be exploring shortcuts, because I keep hearing a lot about shortcuts and I've never really got to grips with it. So over the next 3 months, that's something else I will be doing. And I will be reporting back to the discoveries that I have over the next 3 months. So there you go. That is my 2025 3-month experiment that began last year with the Franklin Planner. I'm not stopping using the Franklin Planner. That is still my daily writing out. It's all about slowing down, thinking about what is important, what's not important. The Franklin Planner and away from the screen is superb from that. But the back end stuff, the stuff that's organizing the things that I'm collecting, my projects and everything else like that, that's going to be all in on the Apple ecosystem for the next 3 months. Now, as I say, I have just launched my updated Mastering Apple Productivity. You can get that right now. I'll put a link in the show notes below if you want to check it out. It is a superb course. It really did just open up my eyes to the abilities that you can use with Apple's suite of tools. And of course, when you go all in with Apple, there's no subscriptions. As long as you've got an Apple device, then you have all these tools available to you. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about what I have been doing with Apple reminders, then this video up here is certainly the one to watch next.